Hello, this is God's Loving Sacrifice, and I'm GLS. The other day I was looking on the internet and I saw a little framed picture, and it said, "They whispered to her, 'You cannot withstand the storm.' 'I am the storm,' she whispered back." It made me stop and think of when I was the storm. And when I was the storm, God wasn't in my life. If they said that to me, if they whispered that to me now, I would have to say, my God calms the storm. I've noticed lately how they're trying to make women look powerful when women have been powerful for a long time. The only thing you have to do is read the Word of God to see how powerful women really are. If you read in Proverbs 31:10 through 31, it says, "Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and a portion for her maidservants. She considers a field and buys it. From her profit she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hand to distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hand to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household. All of her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestries for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known at the gate when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes for the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in times to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children raise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you exceed them all. Charm is deceitful, beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let own works praise her in the gates. That's what they thought of a woman. They thought pretty highly of her. You stop and think here, we're trying to get women to feel really great about themselves because they start their own businesses and all that other stuff. In Proverbs, she was buying fields. She was planting vineyards. She was a merchant. She did take care of things. She did take care of the needy. Women have always been strong. And I don't know why they think they are so weak that they have to make themselves look stronger. But it also says, "A woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised." If you fear the Lord, you are a strong woman, especially in this day and time. People don't want you to have anything to do with God. Do you know, if you go back to the saying that I started with, they whispered to her, "You cannot withstand the storm." You know, we can withstand these storms. We aren't the storms because God calms the storm. In Matthew 4:35 through 41, on the same day when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us cross over to the other side." Now, when they had left the multitude, they took him along in the boat as he was, and other little boats were also with him. A great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat, so that it was already filling. For he was asleep in the stern on a pillow. And they awoke him and said, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" Then he rose up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was great calm. But he said to them, "Why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith?" And they feared exceedingly and said to one another, "Who can this be that even the wind and the sea obey him?" And it does. We don't have to be a storm. We just have to walk beside Christ through the storms. In Job 26:10 through 14, It says he drew a circular horizon on the face of the waters at the boundary of light and darkness. The pillars of the heaven trembled and were astonished at his rebuke. He stirs up the sea with his power, and by his understanding he breaks up the storm. By his spirit he adorns the heavens. His hands pierced the fleeing serpent. Indeed, these are the mere edges of his way. And how small a whisper we hear of him, but the thunder of his power, who can understand? You know, if you look at the feminism of this day, God thought so highly of women. And nowadays, they're trying to erase us. Men can be us. They say men can now have babies. They say a lot of things that men can do that are the same as women. Men are competing in women's sports. Why? Are they afraid of the strengths a woman has? Are they afraid to say a woman is someone with an XY chromosome and that we're born with all the womanly parts? If you ask someone what a woman is, they say, oh, you can't define it. Yeah, you can. God defined it. Before we were in the womb, He knew. He knew who we were. Don't let people take being a godly Christian woman away from you. The strongest women that I've ever known in my life were Christian women. I have got an aunt that every day at 1 o'clock, you were at her house at 1 o'clock, you knew that you were going to sit there by yourself for an hour because she would lock herself away in her bedroom and pray for an hour. She trusted God for everything. That was my type of example when I was growing up. If anything bad came along, she prayed about it. She prayed with you. She prayed for you. And those were strong women. Look at Mary, the mother of Jesus. And you've got Ruth, Naomi, you've got Sarah, all these women in the Bible that were just such strong, powerful women. And they try to say because we're Christians, we're supposed to be submissive to our husbands. God never made us to be under anyone's feet. He made us to give new life. He didn't make men to give new life, they couldn't handle it. He made us to give new life. In the storms that come upon our lives, He knows the way through those storms. He knows how to keep us safe. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. And He does. Daily He directs our paths. We should not be fearful. We shouldn't be fearful. We shouldn't think we're less than what we are. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and sound mind. I don't know why people are so afraid of the storms that come into their lives, except for the fact that they don't have God to get them through those storms. As Christian women, we need to show other women that we can be powerful and we can still be a helpmate to our husbands. We can still be a strong mother to our children. If you're out there and you're going through the storms of life and you're trying to be the storm, you're probably failing. What you have to do is give it to God. Deuteronomy 31:5-6 says, be strong and of good courage. Do not fear nor be afraid of them, for the Lord your God, He is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. We don't have to be a storm. We have to be strong. We have to trust. We have to leave our lives in God's hands. If you're going through one of those storms right now, if the wind's beating you and all the trials are coming against you and you don't think you could go on another day, give it to God. Give yourself to God. Let Him show you the strength that He has for you. Let Him show you the love that He has for you. Let Him hold you in His hand. Let Him guide you through the storms. Let Him give you His peace. My God can calm the storms. My God can heal my hurts. My God can help me make it through. So many things have happened to me lately, and I know I've talked about this before, but I have to talk about my life because that's what I know. I've had not been God in my life holding me up most of the time, I don't know how I would have come this year. He dries my tears. He holds my hand. He gives me peace. He gives me joy. He gives me grace and understanding. If you need those in your life, call on Him now. Ask Him to come into your life and be that strength, be that salvation that you need. If you don't know Him, you don't know the extreme peace that He can give you. It's time. It's time to quit being the storm and start being part of the family of God with a God who can calm those storms.